Hey guys, welcome to the Hey DJ show. I'm your host, DJ Jimenez. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you're over on YouTube, please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe for more content. Remember, you can catch this podcast on the go wherever you get your podcasts. And do consider following me on every social media platform at Hey DJ Show. With all that boring stuff out of the way, I'm happy to introduce my next guest, Paul Roberts. Paul, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm excited to be on the show today. Thanks for inviting me out here. I'm finally glad I could make it.
Yeah, man. We were supposed to have you sometime around the summer, and then I forgot what you were going through, but you were too busy. And
Yeah, so we were waiting for some merch stuff, and my guy
that's what it
basically,
was.
he
Yeah.
bailed out on me, so I'm still looking for a guy that can do some good embroidery work. So if any of y'all know anybody, hit me up.
There you go. Comment down below. Let us know. But speaking of merch, yeah, because I remember now. You posted these merch on with your name and everything on Instagram, and I was like, yo, let me buy one and let me wear it to support you on the
Mhm.
show. So they never came in, but I said, you know what, I still want to support you, so I went ahead and bought me a merch.
My boy. There we go.
I gotta
The
support
handwritten
my
Paul,
boy.
white tee.
Gotta support my boy.
That's exclusive, y'all.
Look at that.
You can only get that here on the Hey DJ show.
You can only get that at the Hey DJ show. 50
That's
bucks.
awesome, man.
I was like, all right, you know what? If I'm not gonna have your mother stupid long wire. If I'm not gonna have your official merch, I'm gonna make me an official merch.
I like it. There
Ain't
we
nothing
go.
gonna stop me. All right, man. So I've known you for a couple of years now. We first met when you and I both worked at Bone Steakhouse,
Yep.
and we could make a whole episode about that. We won't.
We could, though.
Now, I mean, we can talk about little by little, but now, my friend, you've worked as a server at a super high-end restaurant to now you're a real estate agent. So talk about that. Like, so how's the real estate business?
Real estate business is going great. So it's currently my first year of real estate.
Yeah, real quick,
Um,
put the microphone a little bit closer to you. There you go.
So it's currently my first year in real estate. So it's going actually really good. I'm super excited to be here and get my feet wet in real estate. I'm actually on pace to be rookie of the year in my office.
Oh, nice.
Hopefully by the end of December, maybe if I can sell 4 to 5 more homes by the end of the year, I'm in line to be rookie of the region for Keller Williams this year.
Whoa,
So
region.
that's my brokerage, y'all, right here, Keller Williams, Atlanta Perimeter, right by Perimeter Mall. But yeah, besides that, man, real estate's been going great. It's definitely been very, very good to me so far. And a big thing about it that I love about real estate is it can create generational wealth
Mhm.
for your family, So as you said, I was working at Bone Steakhouse, working 40, 50 hours a week on my feet, 12 hours a day. And, I started having some issues with my feet, so I kind of stepped back. Yeah, so basically I just wanted to, get into something that, I can learn and basically grow with. So, I have a degree actually from Georgia State in criminal justice. And the whole time I was thinking like, I need to be somewhere else in a restaurant. I need to be helping people. A lot of stuff happened with the police, as y'all know, in the past 4 years. So I was
Mhm.
like, I'm good on that.
What are you talking about, huh?
Well, I think we all know that. But basically, I had a mentor at Bones. His name's Tony Toish.
Shout out to you, Tony.
Shout out
I
to
gotta have
Tony,
you on the show.
Tony T. He'll be on the show one day.
Yeah,
Um,
dude, the busy guy.
yeah, he's a busy guy. He was working 55 hours a week at Bones, and he made the transition into real estate. And he basically, in real estate, wasn't a big idea in my head. And then, he just kept hitting me up, reaching out to me, letting me know how good I could be at it, and basically what I could benefit from it, and all the rewards he's been getting from it. So I was like, one day I called him. I was like, basically after a terrible shift at Bones, of course, I called Tony and I was like, I need a change, man. So basically, we set out a plan for me to leave the restaurant industry, and my whole goal was to leave it within a year, and I actually left it in 5 months. So that was pretty impressive on my part, and
Mhm.
something that I'm very proud of myself for actually hunkering down and making it happen and getting out.
Dude, that's awesome. It's funny because there's that ongoing joke with like, I'm not talking about Bones. I'm not disrespecting Bones. I'm talking about serving in general. That you go from being a server and then you're just like, man, I need something better than this, to now being a real estate agent. Like there's like that stereotype. And I'm not gonna lie, part of me was thinking about it. I interviewed Ben Chandra. We used to work with
Mm-hmm.
him, and before the show and a little bit after the show, he was trying to convince me. He was like, "Dude, I think you would be great at it." But I was already at school. I had my mind set. But a small part of me was thinking about it, like especially when you were studying for that test, and I was like, like, oh, how long is this test? And you were like, it's pretty hard, but
It's pretty tedious.
yeah. And then, but you were super happy when you passed it, and I was thinking about it. I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe, I don't know. But it's with the hospitality, like especially with like from Bones working there, like their hospitality is top notch.
Well,
So
that's what I was gonna kind of get into. Me and you kind of have, I would say, call it servant hearts.
mhm,
We like to make people happy.
yeah,
So coming from one of the finest fine dining restaurants in Atlanta, and maybe one of the best steakhouses in the country with Bones, we learned a level of hospitality that was up top level, top notch, that is undefeated against anybody.
yep,
And so just learning how to do that and basically how to take care of someone and treat them right and, be there for them. I learned all that, which I give credit a lot of that to Bones. That transitioned 100% into my real estate field. And I mean, a lot of the things I learned at Bones, I transitioned that straight to my business, like
yeah,
how to treat someone, how to properly introduce someone,
mhm,
manners. Manners is a big thing, and how to properly communicate with someone.
yeah.
Those are big, big assets in my business that I think that I strive to take care of every day.
Dude, that's and how like how we went above and beyond for our guests, the plus one, the 1% and
Absolutely.
stuff. I try to incorporate that in my podcast. Like it's all about the interview, it's all about the guests. Yeah, I made mistakes, starting out, but it, no lie that like I kept thinking about it. And what was that one book? Do you remember that book they had us read?
Raven fans.
Raving Fans. Literally think about that. Like I hate that I think about that sometimes, but I think about it and incorporate it into my podcast. And honestly, it's made it better and it's made me better.
It's like it got instilled in your head almost.
I
Like
can't get it
it's
out.
crazy, but
Yeah, it's good and bad.
it's good. It's good, 100%.
So with the real estate, so kind of controversial, but not really. But knowing me, I don't believe anything is really controversial. But so with right now with the economy the way that it is, and right now with like we see like the shipping ports issues and all that stuff,
Hmm.
how now there's like high prices in lumber and other materials. They're talking about, man, Christmas might get air quote canceled just because people can't even get gifts. Price of beef is going up. So how's that affecting the real estate? I hear it is, but I'm not in the world. You are. But
Absolutely.
like you told me you just booked a client later on today, so you're doing well. It seems Tony's doing well. So how's
Absolutely.
it affecting the real estate business?
So a big thing that everyone talks about is another housing bubble coming, is another market crash coming. And everyone, like me, I'm 29 years old. When 2008 happened, when the crash happened, I was a little younger and I wasn't truly thinking about all that. But now, after reading into it and learning a lot about the 2008 market crash, there's two totally different things going on right now between now and back then. Back in 2008, you had a lot of mortgage lender giving out funny loans basically because they were getting greedy and they were making money off of it. So
Mm,
basically, say you had a terrible credit score and you had 0% down to put on a house, they're like, hell yeah, let me sign you up for a house, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a mortgage loan. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to give that mortgage loan to a mortgage investor, and they're going to make money off you. And then I'm going to make money off the top by going ahead and selling it. So, when the market crash happened, they were giving all these funny loans out. And basically, what happened, all the investors started denying the loans. They're not buying any more loans. And so that's when you had, some of the biggest bankruptcies of all times. I mean, like, this company went bankrupt for like 6.7 billion, and they were one of the leaders in mortgage loans. And literally, when no investors were buying these loans from them, they had all these loans that they couldn't handle, and basically nobody was paying off their loans. and everybody basically went into forbearance, and there was a bunch of foreclosures happening. So basically, they all went bankrupt, and it literally killed the market.
Mm-hmm.
Versus fast forward today in 2021, they keep saying there's a housing bubble, and for a housing bubble to happen, I mean, it's kind of happening, not really though. Basically, so you got the bubble, and they're just dumping money into it, so the bubble's expanding. And one day they're saying that the bubble's going to pop, and all the houses are going to decrease all the way down. And people are going to lose out on their homes because they have negative equity.
Yeah.
But so the difference between 2008 and 2021, there's about 3% of loans right now that have negative equity in their house, and it's about 10 times more in 2008 than it is now. Everyone has positive equity. There's not going to be a lot of short sales. A big thing that people keep talking about is, COVID and having your loan forbearance and the moratorium rate. Basically, Joe Biden helped everyone out and extended that a little bit, but they keep saying foreclosures are going to happen. But people are positive on equity now, so they're not looking to sell, and they're not really scared. I feel like that's a big thing today.
I read a little bit about getting ready for this interview. I just wanted to like brush up on a little bit of real estate. I was reading about that 2008 crash, and what I found from one of this article was the fact that they didn't really give a percent. They were just speaking in general, but they were mentioning how one of the causes was because two things was people like that zero, not putting any down payment on it and just going ahead and just getting the house just so that individual can be like, oh, I'm a homeowner. And the other one was people who were putting some money down or zero down and getting houses that they knew they couldn't afford. So
Exactly.
it was such an individual problem. So I'm thinking, I wonder if like an individual like myself or anybody else who's not a homeowner yet can almost avoid that and almost use that crash to their advantage by saying like, oh, well, I'm just not going to be an idiot. And if I have to put some money down, I'll put money down, but not on a house I already know I can't afford.
That's definitely the smart route to go. And you get pre-approved for a reason, and the pre-approval process is basically a mortgage lender that you choose. They're gonna get all your income verification and your last 2 W-2s. They're gonna make sure you can afford this house monthly based off your income. And back in the day, it was like the wild, wild west. There was really no laws on income verification and all that. They were just giving out loans very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's laws in place, and there's a process that you have to go through to get a home loan. And literally, these mortgage lenders, by the end of the process, I mean, they know everything about you. They know how you live. They're constantly looking at your bank account. They're basically, making sure you 100% can buy the house, and they're also saving their back. They're backing themselves up at the end of the day because they're not going to let 2008 happen again.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing. And like you said, you need to be set up for success to buy a house. And I feel like that's one of the big things in you choosing a correct real estate agent to basically guide you through that. Because as a real estate agent, my job is to advise you on the process from start to finish. And my goal is to make it seamless as possible and basically to educate you and help you buy a house that you're not going to be underwater on in the future, and to get you something that's going to basically grow over time. I always tell people, I'm not helping you just buy a home. I'm helping you buy a long-term investment. And I may help you buy a house, but at the end of the day, when you sell that house, my goal is for you to recoup a lot of money off that house, which is, your long-term investment.
All right. So let's dive into that. That's actually a great segue to my second question. What should people know going into before they buy a house?
Well, when you go in to buy a house, basically you have
So like
to
right
have...
now, let's use me as an example because you are going to be my real estate guy. Back off any other real estate. I already got a guy. Oh, I'm better than Paul. No, you're not. All right. So I go up to you, Paul. Okay, I'm ready to buy a house. Or I think I'm ready. Walk me through it.
Okay, so walking you through it, my first question would be, what are your savings looking like? Like, how much do you have in the bank basically to purchase the house? And then I'll basically go into my spiel talking about how much you should currently have in your, saved up to buy the house. which is depending on what type of loan you get. If you get a conventional loan, the minimum down payment is 3%. If you get an FHA loan, minimum down payment is 3.5%. So say you're going a conventional loan with 3% down. I always say it's about 2.75% in closing costs. So I go ahead and tell you, off the top, budget 6% for down payment and closing costs. Hopefully it's going to be below that point, but that 6% is in your head, and it's not going to hurt you when you see that number when it gets emailed to you. Because a lot of times people see that number and they're like, whoa. But the big thing is I educated you on that, so you
Ahead of
already,
time.
you're already waiting to see that. And next thing I'm going to ask you is your work history. Have you been in the same industry for the past 2 years? Have you been with the same job in the past 30 days? Because a lot of times if you transition to a new job, depending on if it's in the same field, you'll be okay. But if it's in a whole different industry or something, they're going to make you work that business for 30 days, basically to get income verification.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, basically, I'll just talk to you about, what you want in your house, where you want to live, what kind of area you want to be in. Do you have kids? Do you want a good school district? Do you want to be close to downtown? Do you want to walk to some bars? How many bedrooms, how many bathrooms? Do you want to update it? Do you want to fix and flip? Do you want to go inside and, get a cheaper house and work on it long term?
Oh, wow. So you asked the whole thing.
Yeah, so I asked basically all those questions because at the end of the day, I'm going to go look for houses for you and send them directly to your cell phone. And if I'm sending you a bunch of, whack houses that you're not liking, you're going to be like, what's this guy doing?
Mm-hmm.
So basically, I get your search criteria down to 100%. That's number 2. First thing is definitely verifying that you can actually purchase a house and your credit score is good enough. And I take it from there, and then I'll start sending you houses and we go see them.
Now, you might get this. I've never done this process, but like I've seen you post your things on like Instagram and all that, and I'll see some stuff that Tony be posting. All right, so why can't I just go online and do like my own filters? Because it almost seems like you're the human version of that. Like I just tell you, okay,
Yeah.
I want this backyard, I want this many garage, I want this many bedrooms, yada yada yada. What's stopping me from just doing that online and putting search filters?
Well, that's the whole thing that I like to implement into my business is the hospitality aspect.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to do anything. I'm going to do everything for you. I'm going to send you houses that I know you're going to like, and I'm going to make it very easy and very seamless for you. I'm going to put you in touch with a mortgage lender that's going to be top notch. I like to say I give white glove service, that's what I do. I make it very simple for you. So at the end of the day, once you buy your house, how many friends do you have? You're going to go to a bar. Hey, I just bought a house. My real estate agent, Paul, he made it so simple for me. And when that person's ready to buy a house, they're going to be like, hey, DJ, I remember you told me that guy did an excellent job. Can I have his number? And that's basically how my business thrives off is referrals.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I do.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay. No, I knew that going in. I was just like, let's see if you can spiel your way into
Yes,
it.
sir.
It's the hospitality.
It all leads back to hospitality and how you treat people.
And please, the search engines are never great. Like I'll put those filters and then I'll still see that one. I'll put a house with the budget and they'll still give me something.
Well, I still always educate people, I like to use this
it's more personable.
I don't use Zillow. No Zillow over here.
Oh, Zillow.
Yeah, I don't use Zillow app. I always tell my clients download Redfin. Redfin is, in my opinion, a lot better than Zillow. And so basically, and I'll educate you on that. I'll tell you to download the Redfin app. And the first time I meet with you, I'll basically hop on your phone for you and set up a Redfin search for you. So it's automatically sending you push notifications in the area you want to live in. So the moment that house comes on market, you're getting a push notification on your phone. And if you like it, you can send it to me direct. And I'm already have push notifications set up on my phone for your search. So I might even get it before you, and I'm sending you the house as it's coming to you, and you're going to be like...
Or I might be busy working or something, but
absolutely.
This is what you do.
Absolutely.
Dude, that's awesome. Now, sometimes you... so, like, it sends a notification on my phone or whatever, and you send it to me, and it's like, hey, I think this house is something you might be interested. Say, like, I'm at work, right? Do I say, yeah, this one looks interesting, and then you go there first to examine that house before you bring me? to do a walkthrough?
No, typically, so I'll send you the house, and if you think you like it, always wait to see if you like it first, and if you like it, I'll basically ask you when are you free to go check it out.
Okay, so you check it. You do a walkthrough with them.
Yeah, I do a
This is
walkthrough
your
with the
first time
client
looking at the
every
house as
time.
well.
I don't ever go by myself, because at the end of the day, I'm not buying the house. I might see stuff that I don't like where you might love it, and
Gotcha.
I might see stuff I like where you hate it. So it's like,
See, that's the hospitality right
at the end
there.
of the day, I'm not going to tell you anything about a house that you want to see because I'm just there to guide you, basically. At the end of the day, you can buy a fix and flip house that is ran into the ground, but as long as you're happy and that's a good investment for you, I'm happy. And it's like I'm not steering people towards any type of house or anything. And it's like,
what if they ask you, like, hey, Paul, like, let me get your personal opinion on this. Like, do you like this sink? And
so
stuff
100%, I've had multiple houses this year, multiple clients where we go to the house and they're like, I love the house so much. I want this house. And my first one-liner is always, I hate to be the Debbie Downer, but look, I'm going to walk you through this house and I'm going to show you what I see. So I have very good attention to detail. So I'm looking all around the house. I look at the exterior of the house, interior. I'm walking you around the house and I'm pointing every little thing I see. And then that's just off the visual. And then that doesn't even involve the pricing.
Mm-hmm.
And then basically, if you say you like the home, so what I do is I get on the MLS, which is a website for realtors only, and I look at the recently sold properties in the area, because that's basically how you get the market value of the home. So I'll basically do my thing and I'll find the market value and I'll let you know if this is a good house or if it's overpriced, underpriced, or if you're going to be in a bidding war. So I'll tell you all those things and then I'll let you decide on what you want to do. Like I said, I just guide you to the right direction where I think, is setting you up for success.
Nice. So, should young people still live with their parents and save up for a house, or should they, go out and get an apartment, move out, and then see what life is like, and then save up for a house that way?
I think that could go both ways. So I'm 100% with that if you have the right mindset.
With what? The moving out?
With staying with your parents if you have the right mindset.
Yeah.
A lot of times what people will do is they'll be like, oh, I'm going to stay with mom and dad and save up some money, but they're out partying every night.
Yeah.
They're not paying rent, so they're not really saving money like they should be, I feel like. But if your mindset's in the right place, like stay in your mom's basement, save up as much money as you can every month, and then you're going to have a down payment for a house like within the year. But a lot of people are like, I don't want to stay with mom and dad. Let me go rent this 1-bedroom apartment, 1 bathroom for $1,200 a month. And so you're basically paying $1,200 a month.
That could be going towards
your down payment for a house, but you're putting $1,200 a month and then you're saving just the bare minimum. And basically you don't get out of that phase basically, and you're just renting for long term until one day hopefully you have enough money. But stay with your parents.
Yeah.
As long as your mindset's right. Be there to save.
It's funny because working with Chandra, that's what he did. And then I was just like, at the time I was like 27, 28, and he was like, oh,
Mr. AMC.
Man, Mr. AMC to the moon. And he had no shame. He was older than me. I think he was like 28, 29 at the time. And he was just like, oh no, I still live with my parents. Like, it's all good. And I'm just saving up. My car's paid off. I'm saving up for a house. And I was like, so you never lived in an apartment? He was like, nope, just saving up for a house.
The point I like to make though is how many people dogged on him and made fun of him for living with his parents, and how many of those same people don't have a house now and he does.
Yeah, exactly.
That's where it adds up. It's like, this man has a house. He may be 5 years younger than you and you're still renting. You've rented your whole life.
Yeah.
And you were making fun of him for living with his parents. But at the end of the day, he set a plan and he executed. And that's my whole mindset thing. If you have the plan to get a house, execute it and do it correctly. And that's what Chandra did.
Yeah, no, I think, and honestly, like, now looking back at it, I'm like so jealous. Like, anybody who is disciplined and's done that themselves. Because I was talking to one of my brothers about this, just getting in the mindset of like, I might start saving up for a house. Because I'll be honest, I'm saving up just in general, but not for a house. And he was telling me that he's not a real estate guy. He's a school teacher, but he was telling me that from the prices he has seen, he was talking about like, I feel like the house market is like geared towards couples, like dual income basically. And then so I want to get your thoughts on that. And but Chandra's that outlier liar, you know, he was able to do it as a single dude, as a young
Absolutely.
dude. And I'm like, man, just from living with his parents, I'm like, you know what? If I could go back in time and do it all over again, I so would. And when I have kids, I'm gonna tell them, it's like, listen, like I need to give you your space. I get it. You're older. You want to be able to invite your friends. You want to be able to party. I get that. But like, trust me, I'm gonna give you an investment. Save up your money and get a house. Don't get an apartment. Just get a house.
That's helping your kids out long term.
Yeah. Now
A
I'm
lot of
glad
people
I
are
know
like,
it
at
now.
18, they're like, get the hell out of my house.
Yeah.
Go move somewhere. And those are
I know
probably the
this
same
for
exact
your
people that didn't
clients,
buy
but
their
man,
first
fuck
house
those
till they were
people.
40.
Yeah.
You know, those are probably the same exact parents that, they rented a house the whole time the kid was in high school. All the kid knows is rentals his whole life. So, he's not geared towards thinking about buying a house.
Yeah.
But I truly do believe it's with the parents setting the kids up for success, because
Yeah.
the parents have been through the trials and tribulations, and they should be, passing that down to their kids. But a lot of times parents don't care. They just want to be by themselves at this point. Like by the time I was 21, my mom loved for me to live in the house. And when I moved, it broke her heart. But at the same time, she still never really taught me, I should be staying with her and saving money.
Yeah.
I kind of had to learn the value of a dollar myself, and
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing that you can do when you're young, is learning the value of a dollar and how to work for it and how to save it.
Yeah, my parents did do a good job of teaching me the value of a dollar. Like the moment I got a job when I was like 17, 18, uh, I pride myself to the point where I never wanted to ask my parents for any help, any money. And I was able to, I remember when I hit like year 3 or year 4, whatever, like a couple of years. And I was teasing one of my brothers. He had to ask my mom for money, and I was like, yeah, I've never had to ask mom for money or dad for money. So, and it actually made me happy that like I knew money management. I was good. I was disciplined.
Mm-hmm.
But no disrespect to my parents, because they're my number one fans. Yeah, they never told me.
We love you, mom and dad.
I love you, mom and dad. They never told me like, hey, you need to save up for a house. Like, yeah, you can save up for that new game system, for that movie, for those new clothes and shoes and stuff. You need to save up for a house though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't waste your money on an apartment. Yeah, I get it. You want to be out. You want to like, meet some girls, whatever. But you need to save up for a house. Trust me, you're gonna be better off with it. And so I wish they would have told me that. How dare you not tell me that? But now I know it, and I'm gonna pass that on to my future.
But I'll also say, don't knock a lot of people that move out
No, I
and buy
won't.
houses, because they learn the values of how to work for your money and how to save it and how to pay rent every month, which that's a value that you're gonna take to when you own a house.
Yeah.
You got to learn how to save money. You got to learn how to pay your mortgage bill, because unlike a rental, if you don't pay that mortgage, the bank's coming to get your house. And versus a rental, you're getting kicked out, but you don't own that house. So basically, you're going to be in foreclosure if you're not paying your mortgage. So that's the biggest thing, is learning actually how to pay bills. And I
Yeah.
feel like renters learn that pretty quickly, and I think they learn pretty quickly it's not fun
Yeah.
to pay rent, because so I'll say this to everyone watching: paying rent is like going to the ATM. Let me take $1,200 out for this 1-bedroom apartment and give it to my landlord. It's like going to the ATM, withdrawing $1,200. There's a trash can right next to me. I'm gonna drop it in the trash can. That's what rent is. You're giving money to someone. You're lining someone else's pockets instead of your own pockets.
You're paying somebody else's mortgage.
Yeah, you're paying someone else's mortgage when you could be, paying cheaper than $1,200 a month for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, and you're overpaying it over a long term. And then once you sell it, you're going to recoup all that money. So a wise man once told me, living in your house is like living in your bank account, because you're paying yourself back over the term. Once you sell that house, what are you going to do? You're going to recoup all that money, and you're going to get some on top if you had a good real estate agent that got you in the right house with a good investment.
Whose name is Paul Roberts.
Yes,
Yeah, I
sir.
get it. All right.
Living in your bank account, Peter Apers told me that at Bones. That was a big thing, and he talked a lot to us about finances, and
He
I
did.
learned a great deal from him. And that was one of the things that stuck with me, is buying a house is like living in your bank account.
That's awesome. I mean, yeah, again, no disrespect to anybody who's lived in an apartment, who's renting, because I'm renting. Like, it's I mean, different things happen. So what, like, let's say now, like you're gonna refer to some of your clients to like, hey, if you want to get to know me a little bit, you should watch this episode. This silly dude with a podcast.
Absolutely.
So what's something like right now you would like your clients to know? Like if nothing else, before they're shopping for a real estate agent. They've seen all the billboards. They've seen all the Facebook posts. What is something you want to know about your client, want them to know about you? What separates you from the rest?
Okay, so I'll say the first thing that separates me from the rest is, say you call this real estate agent that's super big online. He does a lot of deals every year. He has 30 people hitting him up a day trying to do a real estate transaction with him. How long is it going to take for you to get a response from that guy? Which that ties into my big thing is communication. And any of the clients that I've sold a house to this year, they can vouch for me. You text me at 10 o'clock at night, and I guarantee you're going to get a response in about 1 minute. I always got my phone on me. Communication is the biggest key.
Especially since you do this full time.
Absolutely. It's the biggest key and the biggest asset in my business is communication. I'm constantly in contact with my client over every single detail, every single detail, every single email. I'll call them, let them know I just talked to the mortgage lender. They just said you have to do this, this, and this to get approved for the loan. And that's not the last conversation I'm having with you. I'm following up with you every day to make sure you're doing that. And I'm holding you accountable because I know you want to buy a house. And at the end of the day, I'm going to hold you accountable and help you do that and walk you through it. And that's my number one thing against other agents is communication. Like, you find this guy, like I said, you find the guy on the internet that's doing 100 deals a year. He may not email you back for 5 days. And so look, this year I've had 3 people that have contacted me. They fired their agent and said, I'm going with you, Paul, because basically I know them. They saw me on social media selling houses, and they basically have that trust with me because they personally know me. Every single one of them, all 3, they're like, Paul, you've done a great job. Your communication's on point. My last real estate agent, I would text them, and I might not get a response till the next day. I asked them to send me houses. They're literally just send me one house a week. Sometimes it's overpriced and it's not even what I want. So just hearing that and like hearing that I'm actually doing a good job and making it happen for them is a big thing for me, So
yeah, that's
tie
awesome.
back in that in, circling back around. Communication is, my number one thing, honestly.
Yeah. I'm glad you said that because I'm not gonna lie, even though I'm in school and even though I was determined, I was like, it's just, maybe I can drop out and do this real estate game. But I'm glad you said that communication is the key. And your response game is quick. My response game is whack. I'm the worst texter alive. Here's why I'm the worst. I'll put it out publicly. I'm not ashamed of this. You text me 99.9% of the time, I've seen the text.
Yeah.
I just don't reply then and there. Like, you'll text me my phone. Bring. All right. I'll text you back later.
Yep.
That's me. I'm sorry. But sometimes I really don't. Sometimes I leave my phone upstairs and I'm downstairs cooking and all that stuff, whatever. But I don't know why. Like, I'm the worst texter. That's why I'm old school. You call me, we'll talk. Like, you get me there then and now because I got my beats in and I'm always listening to music, whatever. Random note.
That's true, man. 99% of the times, if someone texts me and I'm driving or something, and I'm like, I'll respond to it later, I'm forgetting about that whole entire text because a lot of other people are going to be texting me. So that text gets pushed to the bottom. So I've just kind of implemented it in my business. Once I get a text, respond right then and there and don't even think about it and push it to the side,
I mean, especially like, if you get 2 texts, one from like, some of your buddies and one from a client, you got to reply to the client first.
Yeah, absolutely.
Screw your buddies. Mm-hmm. Client comes first. I totally get it. I couldn't do it. Yeah. I see that client. I'll be like, later.
I get people all the time that tell me that I'm the most fastest texter backer in the world. And I'll be like,
wow, that grammar on that sentence. The fastest. You don't have to be the most fastest.
The most fastest texter in the world. Damn.
That's awesome, dude. No, good on you. That I don't know what the real estate game is. I don't know, but I don't have to worry about it because again, you're already sold. You're gonna be my guy. what is something you need to know about your client in order to help them? So like besides budget, like I know budget's the
I
number
mean,
one
basically,
thing.
a big thing is like lifestyle. Like, if you have kids, like, do you need a good school district for your kids? Like, what kind of school do you want them going to? And, I'm a pet lover. A big thing for me is like, do you have pets? Like, do you have a dog? I know you have a dog. I'm gonna get you a fenced-in backyard because I know if I'm so like I put myself in your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so I basically take your situation, put it in my situation. I think if I was in Dom's shoes, what would I want in a house, basically? And then I'll talk about all those things with you. And like, I know if you have a dog, bam, we're getting a fenced in backyard already. But I will go ahead and bring that up to you before you even bring it up to me to show you,
You
that
were
I'm
already
thinking
thinking
about
about.
you and I care about you and your situation. And I'm catering towards your situation. And that's another trust thing. I tell people all that. And they're like, man, you really care. And I'm like, I genuinely
That's
do.
that 1%. That's that
Yeah,
raving
that's
fans.
1% right there.
Yeah. So have you had a client moment where you've had that something specific, if you don't mind bringing that up, something where you just brought something up that it was small to you but it was huge to them.
I mean, definitely like a big thing is I feel like is safety for women. Like a lot of women will think about buying a house and stuff. Um, and I'll go there and I'll be like, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think this area is like 100% safe for you. And I'll walk around the perimeter of the house with you and I'll be like, if you live here, you need to get cameras there, there, and there. Um, or you might want to stay in a townhome where you got a bunch of people, around you that can watch you and whatnot. So that's a big thing. Like I look for is safety for females, 100%, because that's a big thing. Females like they want to walk their dog at night. I want to make sure they're in a super secure area because if something happened to you at the end of the day and I sold you that house, I'm gonna be like, man, why'd I sell her that house? Like she got hurt over there.
Especially
I
if
feel
you
like it's
had
my
bad
problem.
feelings,
It's my fault.
yeah, and if you had bad feelings about it, you were like, man, I had bad feelings about it, and I still sold her that house.
Yeah.
So
Basically, and so that I tell you everything I think of. I'm not gonna leave anything unsaid. I'm gonna basically tell you everything I think of, and I'm gonna let you form your own opinion, basically, and that's how I do it.
what's another thing like so there's budget, there's lifestyle, what's another thing or a story that you walked around the house, you might have pointed something out that a client didn't see, and they were like, wow, Paul, like holy crap, your attention to detail is on point.
It's really just like a lot of small things, like when you go around the exterior of the house.
How, like real quick, this just popped into my head, sorry to interrupt, how big deal is a small deal, you know what I'm saying? Like,
It depends on what it is. Like the water leak can be a small thing that can turn into a massive thing, and like definitely like water intrusion in a house is one of the number one. Like if you read on a seller's property disclosure, which is basically the seller fills that out, letting you know everything that happened in the house while they owned it and what they know about the property. So if you see water intrusion on that seller's property disclosure, like that's the first like ding ding ding. I gotta super check this house out because I'm not gonna sell you a house in 2 months of crazy storm comes and it floods and you're like, you call me, Paul, my house flooded. Why didn't we look at this on the seller's property disclosure? And I'm like, that's me screwing up, which I don't let happen.
yeah.
So like a small thing can turn into big, and it's just like pest problems, water problems. I try to basically talk people into buying a house with fixable issues, basically. And like water intrusion, if you're on like a hill or something, you're not fixing that. That water is gonna constantly run towards your house, and it's gonna be a long-term issue. And it's something that I'm gonna guide you away from, basically, because who wants your house flooded? I know I don't. Like, screw that.
You get that one crazy client like, I can work with this.
I can work with it. Maybe if we add some more drainage over there,
I'll create a
run
dam.
some drainage here, and I'm like, I let you know everything I
told,
said.
okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna let you form your own opinion now. Like I said, that's what I do. Because I'm not gonna tell people don't buy a house.
Yeah.
Unless it's like truly like, screw that house. Do not buy it.
Have you seen a house that?
Yeah,
like
I mean,
that?
there's been multiple houses this year where we went to see the house and they loved it, and I'm like, this isn't a house for you. It's got this, and this wrong with it.
And they trusted you.
So a big thing. I'm gonna lead this into the next topic is I call shiny pennies.
Shiny
So
pennies,
like,
what is
say
that?
you go to a house, and I call them fix and flips house, and another term I like to call those are makeup homes.
Mm-hmm.
So we all see on social media these busted women these days putting on, they're going from a 2 to a 10, putting makeup on, doing crazy stuff. And a lot of these people these days, these house investors are buying these houses super cheap. They're throwing a coat of paint on there, putting some nice countertops in. They're adding that makeup effect to the house. But
Mm.
really, within the house, there's so many problems that they covered up with a coat of paint. And that's my goal to tell you. Like, I mean, you may get into the house and you're like, look at this kitchen, it's so beautiful. And I'm like, look, man, this kitchen may cost $10,000 to do, but you're gonna be overpaying 30 grand for this house. So why don't you just get a cheaper house, and then you put that 10 grand in yourself? And so that's my goal, is trying to get people away from shiny pennies, looking at the shiny details about the house and falling in love with it, and basically getting their emotions worked up. And then they want that house, but at the end of the day, that house truly isn't the best for them, because this person may have bought the house for 100 grand last year and they're selling it to you for 300 grand. You know, at the end of the day, that house is not worth that renovation that they did to it, you know?
So that being said, with the makeup effect, that's a nice way to put it. Uh, so you're not even looking at basically the cosmetics of the house. You're looking at the interior of the house, like
Yeah,
things like the pipes, the
absolutely.
I guess the walls, whatever.
So you hear a lot of people say this house has good bones. Good bones is structural sound foundation. You know, all the pipes are good. Um, all your plumbing is good. All your electricity is good. You know, you have a good roof. And the only thing that needs to be fixed is cosmetic issues.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. You know, by all means, do that. And by the time you live in the house a year, you're gonna do a bunch of renovations. It's gonna be exactly what you want. But that's my goal, is to get you a house with good bones and not just makeup. Like, a lot of times
People focus on the makeups.
people focus on the cosmetic things that they could do themselves over a long term, versus, the floor might not be sound. They put new flooring down. The flooring looks great, but you're walking on it and you can roll a marble. Like, a lot of times in a house,
Oh, that's
you'll
not
go to the
leveled.
floor, you could drop a marble on there, it's rolling to one side of the house. That's not good. And those are the kind of just the things that I point out and show people. And a lot of times they like to look the other way, and I'm like, don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can see that. Because I mean, with
A lot of
social.
people call it lipstick on a pig. That's another way to put it. I like to call it the makeup effect. It sounds a little nicer.
A little nicer. Look at you being all PC. I will say that with social media, I mean, I'm not focused too much on it. When, like, every now and then when I'm like scrolling and I'll see a house and I'll see like a little walkthrough, I am paying attention to the cosmetics, because that's what you see is what you get. That's what I'm looking at.
Absolutely.
So I don't know the bones, but because I can't see it. So I'm looking at oh wow, that bedroom is huge. Oh look, they have an island kitchen. I want that. And oh, that's a huge closet.
And that's what I was saying. People invest so much thought into the cosmetics where they don't even think about how much they're overpaying for that property. And when they could just do those installations themselves for so much cheaper. And the big thing is, you might be overpaying 40K for the house, but that 40K is not just 40K. You're getting a 30-year loan, and you're putting an interest rate on that 40 grand that you're going to be additionally paying every single year. So by the time you pay off that house, that 40K is increased maybe 2 times, like a bunch of money, versus you could have bought the house that wasn't cosmetically sound. You do all the renovations yourself, and you're not, you don't have an interest rate on any of that money. And that's a big thing that I like to, try to educate people about.
Damn, you're doing. I mean, it goes without saying. I was just gonna hire you because I know you personally. You're my friend. But now, listening to you, you are actually convincing me you are a really great real estate guy.
Absolutely. And a lot of people, think their real estate agent is just there to help you buy the house and just like help you get through the transaction. But at the end of the day, like it goes back to looking for a real estate agent online. You hire someone you don't know and you may not trust them. They're going to get you in a house that you want to buy, and they're going to be super excited about just getting the deal done because what do they want? They want that money.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, I'll tell you 4 houses in a row that house isn't right for you. We're going to keep the search up until you find a house you like, because long term that's going to affect my business, and I'm going to make a lot more money off that over the long term, and you're going to be a lot more happy with my services.
Yeah, so
Versus,
everybody wins. You
yeah.
you made them happy and you got money. So it's everybody wins. You're not just trying to.
And a lot of people have been giving real estate agents a bad persona, like they genuinely don't care about you, because a lot of them don't. I'm not gonna lie to you. A lot of them just want to get the transaction done, make that money, put you to the side, go to the next person they find, and then it's basically a snowball effect. They just keep doing that to people, and it's not right,
Yeah.
And genuinely in my heart, I'm not going to do that to anyone because I'm not a bad person. I actually care about you and your family,
No, yeah. When I went to Bones and you were my server, you cared. Like, even though we could talk crap about serving, not just like at Bones, but just in general. Like, every server has their bad day. Every real estate person has their bad days, but if you had a bad day that day you served me, I couldn't tell, because in that moment, it's not about you. It was about the guest.
Absolutely.
So I could tell that it's about the client. It's not about you. And how you said that, like, when you see things that you may not like, it's you keep quiet. It's like, it's not about me until they ask me my opinion. Maybe I'll shed some light, but it's about them.
It's all about them.
It's all about them.
That's what we learned at Bones. 100%. It's about the guests. It's not about you. Never intrude in someone's conversation until they invite you in.
Yeah. So what are your thoughts on HOAs? And if you can explain what HOAs is for those that don't know. I know what it stands for. I know a little bit about what it is, but I want to hear somebody who actually knows what they're talking about.
So people will live and die by an HOA. Like, either they love it or they hate it. So HOA stands for a homeowners association. So basically, say you live in a certain subdivision. You have 5 people within that subdivision that are on the HOA board. Basically, they're making the rules. It's basically, the HOA is like rules of the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, so like say you have I'll say some people don't like it because it's additional money. So in addition to your mortgage, you're going to be paying, like, say around $250 a month for HOA. That's similar to rent. You're basically just giving that money to someone. You're not ever going to see that money back. But at the same time, your neighborhood's very nice. Your neighborhood's very clean. You're never going to get the neighbor next to you that plays loud music at night, has their yard trashy, because the HOA is regulating all those rules. Like, you can't play loud music past 11. Your grass has to be a certain length. You can't have flowers in this part of the yard because it's not going to look right for the neighborhood. You may have a pool in your neighborhood, and they're going to keep the pool, 100% nice all the time. And if there's a big project in the neighborhood, the board is basically going to vote on it, and everyone else in the neighborhood is going to vote on it, and your HOA fee might go up a little bit, but you're going to get an addition to your neighborhood. Versus a non-HOA neighborhood is kind of like the Wild Wild West. Basically, I own this house. My neighbor can literally do whatever he wants. Like, he could be chopping trees down at 12 o'clock at night. And I can't say anything about it because there's no HOA to, regulate that.
Yeah.
And personally, like, I think a HOA thing is kind of like, as you grow older, and I think an HOA is big with people that have had those neighbors next to them that they hate, literally. And that's what the HOA does, is basically gives you a peace of mind in your neighborhood.
I want to pay additional money a month just so I don't hate my neighbors.
Basically, I mean that's really what it boils down to.
That's what it comes down to. That's what I've heard about it. Again, like, I'm not in the business like you are. Like, I just hear from, friends and family talking about it. And I can see the pros and cons to it. I think if it comes down to me personally, I would try first not doing HOA. Because, like, 1, I want to save money. And 2, I don't like the idea. 1, freedom. I want to be able to, like, I want to renovate my house. I want to be able to do this. And I want to play loud music. I'm a night owl.
Let's go back to that. That's another big thing.
Oh, what's that?
Renovations onto your house. Like, if you want a tree chopped down in your yard, if you want to put up a new privacy fence, anything regarding the exterior of your home or your yard, you have to get HOA approval. before you can even start on the project. So
Oh,
say
screw that.
you want 5 trees cut down in your backyard. The tree service comes, gives you a quote. They literally have to get an agreement from the HOA that agrees for them to do the work. So that's kind of another down point. And I feel like the HOA is really for people that are kind of like a little more uppity and that have the bankroll that they don't worry about paying that money every month.
This is what I've heard. I heard HOA, same with that, like it's within that same demographics. HOAs is that for people who want to protect their investment, who want to soundly protect their investment, because if your neighbors are basically being regulated like you are, then you know that you dropped like, $400,000 on this house, it's always going to have that value and up. It's never going to go down. That's what HOAs protect.
I would say definitely HOA maintains the value of your property because and I will say this, me working with a bunch of clients this year, some like HOAs, some don't like them. And the ones that do, when you go in a non-HOA neighborhood, the first thing they say when you see them at the property, this is a non-HOA neighborhood, isn't it? And they can tell because the yards are literally like, people have stuff like tires in their front yard or something like that. HOA is not allowing any of that.
Yeah.
So it's really like I said, it's kind of like for people that want control in their neighborhood. And
I get it. Like, I get the pros and cons to it. I totally do. I get the argument. And I'm not one to say, like, I'm not saying that I wouldn't get it. I'm not saying that I wouldn't get it. I would say that I'm going to first attempt to not get it.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the HOA, like I said, the HOA is kind of like you kind of grow into that long term. And like I said, once you've been scarred by, a couple neighbors, I feel like that's when you're kind of like, I want to go in the HOA area. Or if you're just older and you have a lot of money and you literally don't want to hear people blasting music at night or having a party, like, by all means, go to the HOA neighborhood. Like, I had a client this year, they were playing karaoke outside his house until like 3 a.m. sometimes. And he was like, I'm never living by that again. Find me a house with a HOA so all that can be in the guidelines. So I'm never hearing music past a certain point. Because I know I'm not loud, so I want my neighbor not to be loud. So it kind of, it benefits a lot of people, and a lot of people just hate it.
Yeah. On a silly random note, I can picture me being old, and I'm a heavy sleeper. So if I'm still a heavy sleeper when I'm old and stuff, I'm gonna be the coolest old guy neighbor, and I'm a night owl. So like, if my neighbors, young kids, and they're playing loud music, 2 things are gonna happen. Either I'm just gonna go to sleep because I'm old and I fall asleep, or I'm gonna party with them. Yeah. They're gonna be like, "This is the coolest old dude ever." Like, that's what's gonna happen. Either one of those 2 things. I think I'd be a
cool old dude too. I'm bringing beers to the party for sure.
I'll knock on their door, and then they're gonna be like, "Oh, do we need to turn down the music?" I'm like, "No, you need to turn it up. Here's some beer. Let's go.
Crank it up.
Crank it up." No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I get the argument on both sides for HOAs and non-HOAs. I just know 100% for me that the first house I'm looking into is definitely going to be non-HOA.
Well, I mean, a lot of young people, you don't want a HOA because you don't want to pay that additional money out of pocket.
You don't want to pay that additional money, but also because I know, being young too, and being excited, this is my first house and stuff. I want to fix it up. I want to add little things to it. I don't want to ask permission. Like, that's just annoying. It's get a headache. It. Yeah, I get it later down the road, especially when I have a family and I have kids, and because I already know I'm gonna be like super overprotective with my wife and kids. That, yeah, maybe down the road I might, but I'm not banking on it.
A big question to ask yourself on if you want a HOA or not: do you like Karens? That is the big question. If you don't like Karens, stay away from the HOA neighborhood. HOAs. If you do like Karens, by all means, go there because they're gonna be walking past your house. If you have your grass a certain height taller than it, you're getting an email or a letter in your mailbox. Hey, one of your neighbors has brought to our attention that your grass is overly tall this week, so we need you to cut it. If you're willing to go through all that, by all means, go for it. But like I said, a lot of Karens like HOAs.
Dude,
sure.
that's That's golden. That's a golden.
It's true.
It's true. No, it's
very
true. I don't even know it, and I already
Mm-hmm.
know it.
Yeah.
All right. So, what is build your idealistic home, or your ideal home, but realistic?
Okay, realistic ideal home for me. So it's gonna be a ranch style home, with a basement in the bottom, and the basement's definitely gonna be a man cave office.
Yeah.
Definitely with a no women allowed sign. I want a wraparound porch because I love spending time on my front porch.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the small things that I see now as a real estate agent. I want updated countertops, updated cabinets. I want to be able to push those drawers in them slow shut, real slow. I don't want them to slam. I want the slow shut cabinets and all that. I want quartz countertops. A big thing for me now is the farmhouse styles.
Mm-hmm.
I like the rustic wood look with the fully white kitchen. I think it's beautiful with the updated light fixtures. I want a backyard with a built-in fireplace. With the path going to it with pavers around it. Super nice. And I want a basketball goal. I like shooting basketballs in my backyard. This is something I do for fun.
Yeah.
And my friends like doing it. So I think definitely the farmhouse style, ranch level, master on the main with a nice basement, a nice man cave area. That's kind of where I'm at.
That's awesome.
What's your dream house? Let's hear that.
Okay, so I kind of got two, and they kind of go hand in hand. So the first one is my realistic one where I'm most likely going to get when I hire you and get the first home and within my budget. It's just three things. Not island kitchen. Have to have an island kitchen.
Gotta have an island.
You have an island?
I don't have an island, unfortunately.
Okay. An island kitchen.
I wish I did.
A night or no, that's for the second one. A room for the podcast room because I kind of need it. I'm not gonna stop this, and a garage. Like I have to have a garage.
Gotta have a garage. So that's one thing I will say. When I bought my house with a garage, I never knew how much I loved a garage until it's raining.
Do you park your car inside?
I park my car in the garage every night.
Dude, now I do. Like it's living here.
How many times have you walked to your car in the rain?
Never.
Zero. And you never really know that benefit until it's super cold outside and you go in your garage, start your car, go back in the house, and then your car is fully warm by the time you get in there and it's pouring down rain outside. You just go straight to your car. You're super dry. You drive out to where you got to go. And then you drive back home. And then you walk right inside the house.
Right inside, it's so dude. It's so freaking awesome. Like when I moved here, living with my buddy Zach, so he gave me the garage door opener, and he was like, "Yeah, you can park your car in the garage." I didn't do it for like the first 2 months. I don't know why, and so I just had my car outside. Then I started parking it inside. Dude, once you park your car on the inside of the garage, that's it. It's over. Like I'm always going to do that.
It's a big thing for your car too. You're not getting like tree sap on your car. Yep. You're not worrying about a limb falling on your car. It's not getting all the weather out there. It's like I didn't really think of it because I never had a garage growing up. As soon as I got a house with a garage, I used the garage literally for like 8 months, and then it was pouring down rain one day, and I was like, Nice.
Dude, nice. Yeah, I just, man, like, so I have to have a garage.
It's the small things. I swear it's the small things in a house that add up to, like,
yeah.
I love it so much.
So for my second house, when I'm, when now I'm a dental hygienist, I'm making good money. Hopefully I met somebody and now dual income. This is what I really want. And I still think it's realistic. Number one, still island kitchen. Have to have an island kitchen. I'm willing to compromise with a lot of counter space, but I have to have it. If I don't have an island kitchen, I have to have a huge counter space. If I don't have a huge counter space, then there's no point.
So as I picture it, like me, the island, I'm an entertainer, so I like to have people at my house a lot.
Yeah.
Just like filling the island up with like food and alcohol and drinks. And just making it look awesome for people coming to your house, showing your stuff off. That's the big thing about the island.
That's the thing right now. Like, if any ladies watching this, listen, if you want to be with me, you have to understand you've already accepted.
He's single, folks.
I'm single. Like, I'm an extrovert.
Ready to mingle.
My house, like this, especially when I have kids, like this is gonna be silly. I want my house to be the hangout house for like my
Absolutely,
kids.
100%.
Like I truly want that. I want my kids' friends to feel comfortable to bring their friends along, and I'll be like, "Oh, what's up, guys?" and all that stuff. I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna let you have your space. I'm gonna go upstairs. So I'm gonna go to my man cave. Who the fuck knows? But anyways, so but yeah, Island Kitchen. Still a room for my podcast. And then separate man cave. Definitely gonna have a man cave. And then if I have more money, hopefully, I'm gonna actually trick it out to the bat cave. Like,
Bat cave.
dude, for sure, I gotta trick it out to the bat cave. My Lord and Savior Batman.
Oh, yeah.
I have to. A flat backyard if I can. Like, I want a nice flat backyard, and then like obviously a 2-door garage, but hopefully enough space where I can add on like another 2-door garage. Like I do want a huge garage because I want to be able to have another garage also like as a shed kind of thing where like I'm getting into woodworking and I want to be able to actually do stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so that's my ideal home. And then maybe a nice flat backyard, and then I can try to have a pool. But if I can have a nice flat backyard, the possibilities are endless at that point. Yeah. So,
Backyard's a big thing for sure because I've spent a lot of time in my backyard. Like I have a client right now. He's looking for a house, Marietta area. He lives in an apartment currently. And I'm asking him like, what do you want in your yard? Do you want a garage? He's like, I've lived in an apartment for so long and I have a dog. My dog doesn't even know what a backyard is. So like, honestly, I don't even care about having a backyard or a garage because I've never lived with it. And I'm like, well, let me let you know, buddy. Down the road, I'm going to tell you, you're going to want that backyard and you're going to want that garage because this is where you're going to live for long term, You want to be somewhere you want to live. You want to have a nice backyard. You want to have a garage. Because it's all going to add up, and at the end of the day, that's going to add value when you resell it. So I've been trying to talk to him into like, and like I said, I'm a pet lover. Like, hey man, I don't want you to have a backyard if you got a dog, because I love that dog just as much as you do, and I want him to run and play.
I just met that dog, and I would give my life for it. I just met that dog,
and I want to give him my backyard.
Yeah.
Like, holy cow, man.
So that being said, when you get a client, are you and obviously the client comes first, you're trying to guide them through it. Do you ever get those clients where they've lived in an apartment their whole life and all that? Oh, you know what, Paul, anything is fine. And then you're just like trying to increase their standards. Like,
well, I call that like people settling for the least,
Yeah.
Settling for, what they're used to.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit that way when it comes to other things. I'm just like, hey man, as long as it does its job. But when it comes to a house, I understand.
Yeah.
There's.
And that's another thing. Like I'm guiding people. Like I'm telling them, like, you may have lived in an apartment your whole life, but dude, you want a backyard. You want a garage so you don't walk to the rain in your car. It's safe. And like so going back to the garage thing, women, the garage is one of the safest things you can get. You have a garage. You go in your car. You start it. You raise the garage door. You leave. You shut the garage door. At the end of the night, when you come back home, it's dark. You go in the garage, you shut the door, you get out. There's no one around you. You're in your garage. Super safe, super secure.
Holy
Going back to the garage thing.
I never...
It's a security thing, even for men.
Yes.
How many... And I try to tell women this, like 9 times out of 10, when women get attacked at their property, it's them going from their car to their front door. So the garage eliminates the whole situation because you're in an enclosed space. And you could sit in your garage for 5 minutes and look around and make sure the ghost is it's
the coast
clear.
Is clear.
Yeah.
Somebody comes in the garage, you put it in reverse, you back up. They're done.
Run them over.
Holy, my!
That's
Paul,
what I'm saying.
You just blew my freaking mind on the show.
But that's another thing I like to do is put it in perspective to people that aren't thinking about this kind of stuff.
I wasn't even thinking about that, dude.
For men, I'm not gonna lie. I carry a gun with me everywhere I go in my car.
Good.
So I'm safe. But at the end of the day, I want my lady, I want her to be safe. The garage is a big key factor in safety, I feel like.
No, See, this is why you're a great. Like
I'm telling people.
you're just gonna be my real estate because you're my friend. But now you're gonna be my real estate because you're actually looking out for your client. Holy crap,
100%, dude. That's what I do.
dude! That's oh my god. So, like, let's go back in time. So when you because I want your clients to get to know you and your because guys, listen, he's a great real estate. He's already sold me. But let's go back in time. Let's get your clients to know you a little bit more. Uh, what is something that, as you were learning, as you were studying for the test to get your license, did you have any doubts? Did you have any worries? A moment of weakness where you obviously fast forward now you're real estate, so you passed, but was there a moment where you kind of doubted yourself, but you were like, something awakened in you where because we're built to serve, so that drove us in a way. So like talk about a time if you had a time where you kind of doubted yourself, you're like, man, am I made for this?
So like a big thing when I was starting to real estate, like a big thing I was doing was studying a lot of successful real estate agents and just, people successful in business overall and in general in life. And the number one key thing I got from studying all these people is you have to take a chance on yourself. If you're not willing to take a chance on yourself, you're never going to make it anywhere because you're going to be scared your whole life. And that was the whole thing with me working at Bones, I was complacent for a while and I was happy. I was making decent money there. And I wanted to take that leap, I wanted to step off that ledge and
You
jump
wanted to
off
invest
of
in
it.
yourself.
I wanted to invest in myself, and that was the number one thing. The whole time, man, like I'm talking to Tony, which is my mentor. I'm telling him, what if no one comes to me in the first year, like what if I don't do any deals? I'm going to be working at Bones this whole time and working full-time real estate. Be working like 70 hours a week. And I kind of just put that all back in my head. And I'm not going to lie, he did a great job of coaching me and getting me out of that mental mind state. And 100%, one of the biggest thing in real estate in overall achieving a successful business is all in here. It's all in your mindset. If you think you can do it and you're willing to put that work in and invest in yourself, you're going to be successful in the long term. And that was the whole thing, man. I was just scared, like, what if no one hits me up? What if no one wants to buy a house from me? And then, like, I got licensed December 28th. I joined Keller Williams January 1st. I was under contract on my first deal in 2 weeks off of social media. Social media was a big key of my business. I post everything I do on social media. If you're on Instagram, follow me on the PR Real Estate Group.
Oh, we're gonna put that.
Yeah,
later.
that's my handle.
What
I post anything and everything on that. What I'm doing.
Was your first client somebody a complete stranger or like a
No,
friend?
so typically that's how it is in real estate. Your first client is typically a family friend.
Yeah.
My uncle actually was my very first client. He was looking to buy a house back in November. He wanted kind of like an Airbnb property on the lake, and for him and his wife to go spend time there when it wasn't being rented out Airbnb. So he contacted me. He's like, "Look, man, I trust you, Paul. I'm gonna wait till you get your license, and I want to be your first deal." Like he put that trust in me, and it helped me out a lot. And I thought that was super cool that he did that and he waited for me. And then just ever since then, I always say it's good working with a family member first because it's kind of like a trial and error thing. Like I'd definitely be more happy to mess up on a deal with my family member than someone I didn't know, because the family member, they're always going to be there for you, blah, blah, blah. And then after that, it just kind of started snowballing. Like, I do a bunch of deals with people I've never met now, and I'm great friends with them. I still contact them today.
How was your first deal with a complete stranger?
It really wasn't crazy, man, because by then I had my systems and processes down.
Mm-hmm.
I knew how to use the technology that we use at Keller Williams in my brokerage. And that was kind of like my biggest obstacle was the technology, like learning how to write an offer, learning how to send it on DocuSign and get e-signatures and all that. And I kind of learned all that myself through YouTube, YouTube University, man. Yeah. And Tony helped me out a lot, but Tony uses different software than me.
Yeah.
So he ultimately couldn't help me out too much. But it was just cool, working with someone that you don't know at all and then putting their trust in you and then you making it happen for them, and then them looking at you like you're like a glowing statue. They're like, wow, you really did a great job. And like that's one thing in the business that like you take to heart. You love it, you know? You love
Yeah.
helping people.
Dude, that's awesome. Like because so far I've been interviewing, because it relates with this with the podcast. I've only been interviewing people that I know, but I'm glad. Like I had a coworker tell me, like, when are you gonna start interviewing, like, strangers and
Mm-hmm.
people around the city? And what I told him was that, well, first off, my friends, the whole point of this podcast is chill and it's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
All my friends have stories to tell. That's the whole point. And I want them, I want to give them a platform to be able to
Mm-hmm.
speak, and talk about themselves and all that stuff. And again, it's just supposed to be fun. But at the same time, no disrespect to any of my friends, this is a great practice, because like I've messed up several times in the past. Some
Absolutely.
people don't know it, some people do, and I'll try to fix my mistakes, but it always hits me hard, and I try to learn from it. I try to bounce back. My next client after you is my buddy Alec. Shout out to you, Alec. He actually got me the mugs. Shout out to you, Alec. Look at that
Shout out to
merch.
Alec. Cheers,
Shout out
brother.
to you. Anyways, Alec, his episode, he was talking about NASCAR. It was a great episode. Learned a lot. He's really passionate about NASCAR. He's gonna be a NASCAR racer. Like I'm gonna put money down. He's gonna make it. I botched the audio. Like I caught the visuals and all this stuff, but I botched the audio, and I had to use the audio from the cameras or from the phones, and I was so mad at myself. After that, I never did that mistake ever again.
Mm-hmm.
So you learn from it, and now that once I get a client interview, like a complete stranger and stuff, I know that they can put their trust in me that they're going to get a great interview. I've learned to not talk as much, to let them talk more, and to not mess up on the editing. So
you invested in yourself, man.
yeah. And I'm glad you said that too. Like, basically you were saying, like, you just have to start.
You got to start somewhere.
You just have to start somewhere, because that's, again, same thing with the podcast, same thing with me with school, that no disrespect to any servers out there, wherever you are, but we realize we want something more. If you want to be a server, you want to be a server, that's fine, but we wanted something more, and we took a shot on ourselves. We invested in ourselves, so we're putting ourselves.
I'll stop you right there, and that's a big thing that everybody, when you're starting something new, entrepreneurship, starting a new baseball team, doing whatever that makes you happy, understanding your big why you're doing it for yourself. Back to you.
That's awesome. Why I'm doing it for myself, or why I'm doing it for me, it comes down to my niece. My niece was born in 2020, and it, like, I wasn't even thinking about this. Like, my sister-in-law, she was pregnant and all that stuff. Everybody was happy, and we were just all praying that she had a healthy, a baby girl. And the moment my niece was born, I realized, like, it hit me with a ton of bricks. I realized, shit, I'm never gonna see this girl grow up, like, on the weekends. When I was a kid, most of the time I saw my family members was on the weekends, like at barbecues and stuff, and I was like, I'm never gonna see this girl growing up, working as a server, and as a server, you give up your weekends. So I made it a transition. Like, it was like, I need a 9 to 5. I want that. But everybody talks about 9 to 5s the soul sucking way, but let me find one that I enjoyed. So to make a long story short, Bones needed to happen, and then where I'm at needed to happen to get me to go to school, to get me to be disciplined and focus, to go to school, get a 9 to 5, become a dental hygienist. But also with this podcast, I lived out in the city, you knew that, and I did not have any social life besides the people at Bones, great people and all that, but I didn't have a real social life, and I was like, I need that. I want to meet new people. I want to hear stories.
Absolutely.
So then I started this podcast, and, like, I can't tell you the fear that I had starting this, even though I'm not making any money. It's not popular yet. And I was
Yet.
just like, I was just like, you know what? Let me just start it. And little by little, it became to this. I got you as a guest. You're sharing your story now, and I'm so happy. And more to come in the future. This is not gonna be the last time you come in and all that, but uh,
Basically, you're saying confidence. It
dude,
ties into everything.
but
It's
you gotta
confidence.
start. Like the
You gotta
greatest
start somewhere.
advice I was given was in 2020 in November. This dude who I never met, his name is Ryan, literally looked at me, gave zero fucks about my feelings, and was like, "You need to start this podcast." Like I never met him before, and he was like, "You need to start this."
Shout out to Ryan.
Shout out to you, Ryan. And I was like, you know what? Yeah. And he was like, the only thing holding you back is you. And he was so right. So now seeing you, like I'd known you from Bones, and again, no disrespect to Bones, but it just looked like, you know, you were complacent, like you said, like just being at Bones. And then later you found your calling at being a real estate guy, and dude, that's awesome.
And I'll tie into that. I think a big thing about success in life is, you know, totally, they say you are who you hang around.
Yeah.
And 100%. You know, I used to like, you know, I don't believe that, blah, blah, blah. Until I started hanging out with, you know, my mentor, Tony, a lot. I see him bringing in big bucks. I see him changing his life for the better. And, you know, his big why was his daughter. So, you know, my big why was, you know, just exactly how you said, hanging out with your family at nighttime, being able to do something on a Saturday night or a Sunday night. Literally at Bones, our Friday, Saturday, and Sunday was taken over by invisible shackle to Bones. Unfortunately, that's what I like to say.
Unfortunately, it's
but
not
it
a
is what it
disrespect.
is.
It is what it is.
But having someone that, you know, you can rely in, and I think a big thing for me was having an accountability partner calling me every day, like, "Hey, did you do this? Did you do that?" And the next day, I'm calling him too. I'm his accountability partner. I'm making sure he's doing everything he's doing. Just having someone, like, you know, showing interest in you, showing that they think you could be a better person was like huge for me. Cause like, you know, I really didn't have anyone like that in my life. And just like having someone literally tell me, no, screw that. You can do this, put your mind to it. And now me seeing reap those rewards is like, it's great.
Dude, that's awesome. For me, Chef actually helped me out. Chef Leonard. Can't wait to have him on the show.
Shout out to Chef.
Shout out to you, Chef. Like second dad to me.
Fuck the Dodgers.
And they lost to the Braves.
They lost to the Bravos.
They're going to the World Series now. So Chef helped me out when I started at Bones. He said something to me that I'm always going to take to the grave. And I will pass down to my kids. He said, it was like literally like my first week of training, first 2 weeks of training. When, you know, at Bones, you're in the kitchen before you're in front of the house. He said to me, worry about the guests. Take care of the guests. Don't worry about the money. If you're thinking about the money, you're in the wrong business. Think about the guests. Take care of the guests. The money will come later, but take care of the guests. Dude, that golden. Like, I can't rebuke that. Like, that was golden. And I take that to me with serving and within life in general. Just worry about taking care of the people. And I take that with the podcast. Right now, we're an hour and 20 minutes in. How comfortable do you feel now?
I'm good, man.
But in the first minute, you were uncomfortable.
Yeah,
you were still a little nervous, right?
I was a little nervous.
My job is to take care of you, and then if I take care of you, then the show is great, and then that's it. And then you take care of me by providing me content, and that's it. So people, take that advice. Don't worry about the money. Take care of the people first. The money will come later. And the second thing I want to leave at, excuse me, is that it kind of going back with the just start. You know, people are so scared of starting, and I'm a broken record with this. Like, just start. In a way, like, I mean, I've had this mindset, but now that I'm 29, I give no craps anymore. Just start. If you fail, you fail. But like, when you fail, at least you have a tangible mistake that you can fix. I'm pretty sure, like now with your clients, you've probably made some small mistake to you, but was a big deal to you that you were like, never again, I'm gonna fix this.
I'll say a cliche line that always stuck with me for some reason. You miss 100% of shots you don't take.
That's so true.
So you got to take a shot and you got to invest in yourself. And, the biggest takeaways I have from today is number 1, invest in yourself. Number 2, trust the people you work with and rely your faith into them. And 3, watch the Hey DJ show.
Watch the Hey DJ show. Oh man, that's the best way to end it. But like, I just got to ask you one more thing, kind of going that. What's a mistake that you've made that you've learned your lesson from being a real estate agent that like if some real estate guy he's fresh, new, hasn't had a client yet, what's something he or she should look out for that you learned the hard way?
If I could start again from what I know now, and I feel like a lot of people will tell you this, what you put into real estate is what you're going to get out of real estate. Once you start doing deals, don't stop learning because it's a constant learning process, and have your systems and processes in place. And the number 1 thing is time blocking your schedule. 9 to 5, 9 to 11, I'm doing cold calls. 11 to 1, I'm previewing properties. 11 to 3, I'm calling everyone in my phone book that I haven't talked to, and I'm setting up follow-up schedules. Basically doing the work and not getting complacent with getting deals. Because, like, you start doing a couple deals, you start making a little money, you're like, hey, some more deals are going to come, and then boom, your whole pipeline's shut down, and you don't have any deals coming. So as many deals as you do, work harder with the everyday tasks that you got to do, 100%.
Now, okay, I know I lied. That wasn't my last question. Now I have one last question that just popped into my head. Okay, somebody's watching this. Same with me. Single dude, single chick, whatever, is like thinking, okay, well, I don't want to wait till I meet somebody and have dual income. I want to be able to go ahead and start saving up for a house. Excuse me. How much, like on a general estimate, should somebody save up at least, like a good ballpark? Should somebody save up before they contact you and be like, hey, Paul, I heard from the Hey DJ show. You're awesome. I want you to be my real estate guy. Like, I saved up X amount. Mm-hmm. I'm ready to look at houses. What is that X amount? What's a good safety X amount?
So, like, a big thing that I've realized that a lot of people think you need to have a lot more money than you really need to buy a house. So people are like, I'm saved up 50 grand and I'm buying a house. And then the mortgage lender ends up telling you, it's a waste of money to put that much down. Keep some money in your pocket and just do the loan term over 30 years. I would say about 20 grand is a good safety net. So say you're buying your first house, a starter home, you have 20 grand, you're putting the minimum down 3 to 3.5%. I always say you don't want to buy a house and be broke. You want a nest egg in your bank account, because say you buy that house, the hot water heater, the HVAC unit goes out, you have money in your pocket to fix that issue. So I think 20 grand is definitely a good, your starter home, you're not going to spend 20 grand on the house, but you're going to spend maybe around 15, and then you're still going to have 5 in your pocket to do renovations or to do whatever you want to it. That's generally my outline of it. 20 grand is a good start.
All right. Well, you heard it here, folks. Paul, where should people follow you and get in contact with you if they're looking to get a house?
You can call me, shoot me a text whenever, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning. I'll probably respond.
He will respond.
678-789-5865.
Say it again.
678-789-5865.
We got to get you a lingo. We got to get you making a song.
And Instagram, the PR Real Estate Group. And my Facebook business page is also the PR Real Estate Group. And honestly, you can follow those. I put up a lot of information on, for your future self buying a house. Just like, you can just go through my Instagram and you'll learn some stuff if you're a first-time home buyer.
I follow people personally. It's great. I definitely learned a lot. I'm definitely gonna put it in the description and all that stuff. Well, Paul, we're at the end now, so I know I just had you drop the handles, but if there's anything else you would like the world to know, it's not live, but here's your chance. If not, this is a wrap.
I don't really have much to say, man. I think the Hey DJ show is gonna take off one day. That's
Dude,
what
I
I want to say.
appreciate
I
that.
mean,
Did you have
this guy's
fun?
like the next Joe Rogan.
Ah, man, I had a friend tell me that. I'm like, you gotta respect to the GOAT. Like, I'm maybe, but you gotta respect the GOAT.
I really think you're doing a good job, man. And
Hey, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I know you started somewhere. So like before today, DJ told me his first video took him 20 hours.
Yeah, 2 weeks.
Basically 20 hours to, tweak the show and do all the editing. And now he's at 3 hours because he invested in himself. And I think 100%, even if you don't want to buy a house and you just want to have like a heart-to-heart conversation, call me and like I'll get your mindset right.
Yeah.
For whatever you want to do.
Especially if they're thinking about real estate, they should hit you
real
up.
estate, non-real estate, call me, man. I want to be your friend. I'm a cool guy.
He is a cool dude. He is a cool dude.
I'm down to meet new people all the time. That's what I thrive off, is meeting people, hanging out with people.
That's what I'm talking about.
Hanging out with this guy right here.
All right. Dude, oh man. And we're going to have you back on the show. Like, this is not going to be the only time you come on. So, all right, Paul, again, man, thank you so much. You drove almost an hour to be here for the show. Thank you so much. Yeah, you're going to be my real estate guy. Don't hit me up. Real estate people, don't hit me up. I'm already booked with somebody. So it's all about Paul Roberts. All right, well, that's a wrap. Thank you guys so much. Peace.